Episode number 43. Myself, B-Boy Jeremy.
Moy.
Yep, in the place to be, rocking the spot, in the building. What's some more ways to say that we're here?
Yeah.
Estamos aquí.
Estamos aquí.
What
aquí
else?
estamos.
What else?
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go no more.
Okay, well, anyways, yeah, because we got bigger fish to fry today. We got a special guest. A special guest. TikTok superstar Roxrite is in the building.
Ooh, Tuesday slide.
That's what he's known for, right? That's what he's known for.
He's known for a lot.
A TikTok superstar.
He's a freaking freezing TikTok and freaking to the dot. What is he to the rocks?
On the real though, much love to our special guest Roxrite. What's the deal, brother?
Roxrite?
What's going down?
What's up, everybody? Everything's
how
good,
you feeling,
man.
brother? How's everything?
I'm feeling pretty good. Been pretty good, just
good.
staying low key, you know. Keeping busy,
You
sort
low-key,
of.
you low-key
doing
look
stuff at
really
home.
good.
You low-key looking nice right now.
You know
What's
how
up,
it
man?
goes.
How's everything been for you?
So far, it's been interesting, you know, having to readjust to not being out and about and you know, the traveling that we always do. It's kind of, in some ways, refreshing to have to be put like in one place to stay. But also at the same time, it pushes your patience, you know, like, okay, what else can I do? Or how more, like, different ways to be creative. It's like, it's pushing me to think further into that, but also expand on other things outside of breaking that I want to do and, you know, haven't been doing. So there's like other things that you have in mind that you haven't done. But I think now I'm kind of catching that kind of vibe now where I'm like, all right, you know, start like trying these other things that you've been wanting to do. So, I mean, I've been enjoying it though, you know, overall.
For sure. No, I think it's intriguing to know like what the B-boys or the B-girls are doing, you know, with this time, you know, like I know we're so used to traveling a lot and being at different events, but like for me, as I'm a family man, I've actually enjoyed the time being at home because literally in the past, let's just say 3 years or so, I feel like I hadn't spent so much time at home, and I think that it was necessary. So I really enjoyed this time being at home, but at the same time, still finding ways to be productive and active in the ways that we know how to be creative and productive. And so just trying to utilize the time wisely, man. And I know someone like you, you're constantly gone and constantly traveling and contributing to the scene, that it's also good to hear your perspective and how you took this time to really develop yourself. I saw that you were you know, posting a lot with your YouTube, posting a lot on your Instagram, and you basically really overutilizing your tools to make sure that you're still present. And then also seeing that you were also practicing a lot and redeveloping and trying to reinvent who you are, which I think is also very important. I think that B-boys and B-girls, they get so comfortable stuck in their ways that it's okay just to kind of relax and do nothing. But I think that you definitely achieved that. And I noticed it. I know if I noticed it, I know a lot of people did. And so it's always good to watch, man. And you've always been a big innovator in the scene and inspiration to many. And so I think it's good that people like yourself and many others follow that example or that design and really take that to another level, because it's what we need, man. We need motivation, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you. Yeah,
I was just playing, man. I was just joking.
Hey, one of the specific things I've seen you've been doing is the Squadron sessions. You guys been going live and just getting down, man. I love it. I've seen a couple of them.
Yeah, it's been dope, you know, with living with Lean and, you know, having somebody that is like always pushing his skills on that. It's like always dope music. So for us, it's perfect for when we want to get down and have new music or just a new sound to kind of groove to. Because obviously when you go to practice, a lot of times when you go play the same mix, having him here do it live, it's like, okay, some new stuff. He's testing out his new ideas. And it kind of gives
you have the edge on everybody, bro.
It's not fair, bro.
Why do you do that? Like Lean,
know,
like
right?
for
I'm
me,
like,
DJ Lean Rock and Flag are some of my favorite people to practice, like the music to practice to, because it's so hard hitting that it's aggressive, and I like to break aggressive. And for me, it's like when I see you guys doing that, I'm like Jeremy. I'm like, that's not even right. You have the edge. Like you have all his latest stuff, all his old stuff, and it's like right there at the palm of your hands. And I think that's dope. But I also think that it's super dope that you guys are creating something like that because it involves everybody and it's inclusive. You know, instead of you guys keeping what you guys have to yourself, you're getting everybody else involved, which is great.
But exactly. It's just about doing that, and with the guys, some of the guys that are around, we all live in LA now, almost all.
Yeah, I think we lost Roxrite. So
there you go.
You came back.
I froze. Did it freeze?
Yeah, you froze. Baby. See, you always good at freezes, dog. You know what I'm saying? Stop showing off.
I got that freeze Wi-Fi, bro. The thing busted. I gotta fix it.
Yeah, you were talking about how all you guys live in LA now, all Squadron members.
Yeah. So all the guys are pretty much here. We got Keebs lives here now. Peanut, Phil, Luigi's been living here for a long time. I just moved here last year. So now that we're all here, I think it's a really good opportunity for us to really push our skill set and elevate the crew and the name and stay more active and push the whole movement to a higher level, and obviously on the dance floor and off the dance floor. But it's been good, man. It's really something special.
That's good, man. And I also noticed that you guys have put a lot of emphasis on people like Peanut, Phil, like the younger guys, which I think is great. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's very transparent that you guys are doing that, that you guys are putting a lot of strength and energy behind them rather than yourselves, because you guys are trying to keep the legacy alive of what Squadron has done in the past and now kind of pass the torch to the younger guys and making sure that they're taking it to the next level. But not forgetting that you're soldiers as well, so you're standing next to them, but at the same time you're putting them at the front lines, which I think is very, very important. And can you talk about a little bit about that? Am I right, like that you guys are doing that? Because it's pretty noticeable for me,
Yeah, we're trying to really have new guys that are going to represent the name for years to come. Obviously, a lot of the Squadron guys that have been there from the beginning are either in their mid to late 30s, and we got a few guys like in their late 20s, but we don't have nobody younger, so I think it was necessary for us to expand on that. And these two guys really represent and embody the movement that Squadron represents for the younger guys as well. But also they had a connection with Max, and we felt that it was important for him to join both of them to join the crew and carry on that tradition and that mindset. But definitely, we're trying to help them out and get them out to be competitive, and just push them. I mean, last year we took them to Europe to do a tour with us and battle, and I mean, it was a really good experience. We had a good time, and they definitely were pushing and making a name for themselves. And we're just trying to keep sending guys into different places where they get a chance to highlight their skills with the crew.
Yeah. Speaking on them in particular, man. Both Phil and Peanut are my boys, man. Much love to them. Mm-hmm. And I gotta undoubtedly give it up to them as some of the leaders of the next generation of the generation that they're coming from, man. I kind of fall in line with their generation too, like a little bit before them. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the waves, but I definitely view them as two of my favorites, man. Not only are they my boys, but just the way they get down and that essence they carry, man. Much respect to them. But besides them, I was gonna ask you, who do you like for the new generation? Who else do you pay attention to? Who else grabs your attention out of this new generation of dancers?
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of younger guys that are dope right now. I mean, you got these like little kid b-boys that are amazing. You got
they're
like
scary,
who is it? You've seen. I know, right? Like, damn. You have like who is it? Lorenzo. You got what's his name? The kid from Russia.
What's the little kid that kicked the ferret?
Grom. Oh, that kid, Malish. Yeah, he's crazy. He's gonna do like 42 2000s.
Yeah.
And then you have.
What is he gonna be known more for? The 42,000s kid, or the kid who threw the ferret?
Yo, these kids are really, man. Like what you said, it's just these kids are really next level, and there's a lot of them. They're coming out of everywhere, bro. Yeah. They're like a little army of just grown little men, but they're like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
And they're already doing crazy stuff, I mean, look at the kid from Peru, Alexis. He's got crazy moves like everywhere. You have kids from every part of the world coming out and just really elevating the game on what they're doing.
For sure. Yeah, I want to go back to Peanut and Phil. I know we talk about Peanut and Phil being new, but they've actually been killing it for a few years. I've known Peanut since he was like nearly a baby, and ever since I've been seeing him get down, he's always like represented like the essence of what we do to the fullest. And so it's great to see him grow. It's kind of weird seeing him grow because you're so used to seeing certain kids as kids, and now he's becoming a man, and seeing like where he's taking the dance and what he's doing is it's inspiring, man. And so I know that you guys are doing a great job, but shout out to his dad too, Jay Boogie, because Jay Boogie has been the leader and the mentor in his life, and he's been a good friend of ours for years as well, and always showed a ton of support for Havoc Coral and a lot of us individually. And so we've seen their growth and usually when that happens, that pushes them out the picture, and they never have a chance to compete at the high level or get sponsorships or whatever you want to call it that makes you special in this dance. A lot of people, that's all perception. People can look at success differently, right? But at the same time, for them to continue with their dance, it's important for them to surround themselves with people that actually do it and live it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that very well said. I mean, they have to keep pushing. And if you have people around like yourself or Jay Boogie or some other guys in Squadron, it's, obviously we're here to help them grow as much as possible. And everybody's views on success and what they want to achieve in breaking can be different. There's people that may not want to compete or may not want to get sponsored, and that's okay because they have different ways that they're going to grow in life and in a professional manner, or careers that they choose outside of breaking, but they still come to breaking, So a lot of people go in different routes, and, the guys definitely are about the lifestyle that we've been living. I can definitely see them pushing forward and growing in that. So for me, I'm just here to help them, push them, and see how far they can go.
I think that speaks on like lineage and the culture, the motto that we have within our culture of each one teach one, because so if you look at Peanut Side and Self X, like that Self X lineage and now that Squadron lineage, that's like a trusted, tried and true, like preserving tradition, and anybody who comes out of that and who subscribes to that school of breaking is going to come out dope. You know what I mean? And same thing with Phil on Phil's side with Phase 2. Like, you just hear the name Phase 2, you already know. You hear the name Squadron, you already know. And that speaks on, like, how important it is to carry on tradition, how important it is to pass down knowledge. And on that topic, I saw that Renegades, actually, y'all got some new members in, right? Y'all just put 2 new members down. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, we have actually 3 new members.
3.
We got Run, Somar, and Dosu. That, it's actually quite a big step for us, because Renegades has been around since '83. They've had a lot of influence in the '90s. Then I got down in 2000, so I've been in Renegades for 20 years now. That it flew by. I didn't realize it just went by so fast. So we had a talk the other day. Actually, we've been having talks about this for the last 6 months, and we just feel that it's time to really bring in a whole new generation of guys and get them to represent the name, because we're only getting older. Me and Wicked are getting older. David's a little older now. And, one of the other members that we've had that is younger is Jose. We got Danny Dibble. We got Dennis, Marty. There's other guys that are a little bit older, but we don't have those guys that are on the front lines constantly, going here, going there. And I feel like Dosu, Somar, Run were guys that I met and I've been running into for years already. Run I met more recently, and I really actually got to talk with him and see the way he danced. But some other guys have, he's from Colorado.
Yeah, okay.
And but he lives in Seattle now.
B-Boy
Factory.
Oh, okay. I know.
Nasty.
I was trying to like process the name, but
I saw that Somar and Dosu. I didn't know that Run got down, so that's news.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
he's a good kid, man.
3 nasty B-boys, for sure, man.
Yeah,
that's great.
So we're just looking into pushing a whole new generation of guys, and with them being the newest members and Jose already being on, I feel like Jose is very hungry right now to stay pushing.
Yeah, man.
And really elevating his game. And then you got these 3 new guys that are out there like that as well. I mean, Dosu came here last year and trained with me for a whole week. Out of his own way, he hit me up. He was like, "I want to train," and he came out. And I just shared with them, different things to the approach that I have, to the approach I learned from the crew. So we've been staying in touch, and he's always been a hungry student for wanting to learn more. So those are the kind of people we're trying to push.
People ever, man.
Yeah, much love to Dosu.
He really is. He's so humble. He's reached out to me you know, a bunch of times as well, and always showed his love and respect
Mm-hmm.
for you, for myself, and he's such a great guy, man, and such a hard worker, man. Like, see, I've seen him, like, even in the competitions where, you know, he wasn't making it far, and then he started winning like every single one, and so it's like it's
Yeah,
really dope to see that growth in people, and you can just tell how much he wants it, and to reinforce what you're saying, like I think it's important to have like people in your crew that are at the front lines.
Yeah.
And that's kind of
Exactly.
my next topic that I wanted to get into, because you know
mm,
competitions are a big playing field of kind of today's breaking society. Like it's like
for sure.
for some b-boys, if you take the competition away from them, you don't even know if they're going to continue breaking. And then for others, you know, that have lived without the competitions, they'll know, you'll know they're always going to get down. But not to
Yeah,
diss competitions, because I'm a big ambassador for competitions, but like
for sure.
what is it right now that you guys look for outside of having people in the front lines of competitions, but even with the competitions, like are you pushing everybody just to go and like compete, or is it like go and win, or is it just go and make your, you know, make a name for yourself? Like what is it, what is the movement behind your encouragement to get someone there? And it could be
Mhm.
general, it could be like your crew members, or it could be general, like a general message for everybody, you know?
Yeah, I mean, in general, when you look at it, for me, is about learning the dance first, right? Like, obviously, the competitions are part of the game nowadays. That's what comes with it. You know, everybody's trying to be out there, be active, and that's one of the main platforms that we have to really highlight our skills. But a lot of the people that I grew up around, or just people that I get down with, like a lot of us just also just break to break, right? We go to jams. Some people don't enter all the time. People know me from competing, but for a long time I didn't compete. I didn't compete for like the first 3 years of my breaking. I went to B-Boy Summit '99. I didn't even enter the breaking category, and I was there with the whole crew of guys that could have done it with me. But instead, we sat down and listened to panels, got down in ciphers, battled people in ciphers. Like these type of things for me are very important because I think you learn how to dig deeper within yourself to understand your craft and your skill set that you're developing. And also just enjoying the event for what it really is. I think people go to the contest, they lose and they leave, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember going to events when cats would lose or wouldn't even make the prelims, but they're still calling out people all over the jam, you know, like they're still in the ciphers enjoying the music and just actually enjoying the lifestyle of what this is and connecting with people. You know, of course, on the floor is one thing, but off the floor is a different thing. So I think when it comes to that, I want the guys from the crew or the newer guys that we're recruiting now. Like, to me, those kids are obviously very competitive, but they also approach the dance in a way where they are about having style or developing a style and breaking, you know, and that's
Hmm.
very important because just the moves itself and having no character, no presence, and no style, like, I think that you have to develop that and grow that and you know, with these guys, I feel that they all have a bit of their own touch already, and it's about pushing that to a higher level. And I want them to also just go to jams and learn about the event and not just be there strictly for one thing only, you know. And I mean, for us, a lot of the guys in the crew are a lot of them get down in clubs, you know, like a lot of guys that grow up in the Bay. The Bay has a very heavy scene for you know, parties and just having like big events where dope DJs are playing dope beats and people are just getting down in the club. There's no contest. You're just there to get down and enjoy the music, you know. So a lot of the guys in Renegades are like that's how they get down. That's how they live. Um,
Yeah.
so it would be dope to bring them into that environment so they can get a taste of that and see what that's like and get tested in those kind of ciphers because it's not the same as a cipher at a jam when you're at a club cipher and getting down with people you've never seen before maybe or people that don't know you. It's a different atmosphere. So
Yeah.
definitely I think all of that is very important.
Yeah, and so with that being said, like um right now there's no competitions happening. Like what are you encouraging, you know, the guys to do right now? I know you talked about, you know, they're really focused on developing their styles and breaking, but at the same time
Mm-hmm.
it's also a good time to really build yourself as a brand too, you know, because what
Mm-hmm.
I've learned even
For sure.
through social media just recently, like what keeps us active too is kind of our social presence and we're letting people know what we're doing. So aside, you know, encouraging, you know, the younger generation or your guys and your crew to keep being on the front lines, are you also encouraging them to like be professional and find a way to brand yourself? Because, you know, ultimately you and I know, even, you know, being in the scene for so long, you know, you could be a really dope dancer, but you could also be a person that nobody wants to work with you, you know. So you got to really build
Yeah.
a nice protective brand around yourself and something respectful, you know. So
Longevity.
yeah, or you know,
Plays
or
into
like
longevity.
Yeah.
another thing I wanted to say is too is like, I know, you know, you've won countless titles, we've won titles and things like that, but ultimately it's about respect, right? It's like, you know, you can
For
have
sure.
all the titles in the world, but people cannot respect you, you know? So it's like, how are you guys getting the message across to the younger generation on how to earn people's respect? Because a reason why I bring that up is not specifically like for you guys or what you think, but also too, just I feel just from just observing from a distance, I see like the younger generation a little confused about how they earn respect. So they feel like they earn respect by winning competitions, or they earn respect by, you know, having a big mouth and trying to prove themselves with a big mouth, but not really putting action behind what they do. And then I know for us, like coming up when social media didn't exist, or, you know, there weren't even DVDs yet, when it was VHS, and it was hard to get a hold of a VHS. So when you made it onto a VHS, it's like, okay, that was one level up, but you still had to earn your respect through battling, through engaging in the events, and not leaving every time you lost. So a lot of stuff that you mentioned already. So like, what are you guys doing for that? Especially like right now when the events don't exist. How is the younger generation that you're working with, and also a general message to the younger generation? How do you keep them engaged to be professionals, to keep engaging and build a brand around themselves that people are gonna trust and like?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, you speak a lot, really informative stuff. I think a lot of people overlook this in breaking, you know, so I guess we'll speak a bit about that, like in more from my perspective as well, is like, you know, right now, a lot of kids in breaking still don't understand the importance of like the influence they have and the impact they have and how to tell their story, right? Like everybody has their own story. Like we all break the way we break, we develop a style, we choose a certain way of breaking. Within all that, there's a story there, but outside of that is like the obstacles you face in life, the things that make you you. You got to know how to bring that out of you and how to tell that in a good way. That is very important in the community of the b-boy, or just the breaking community in general, or hip-hop culture overall. When you go back and you listen to people's stories, those are the stories that have impact and longevity as well, right? It's like, oh, this kid comes from this environment, he actually made something out of nothing. You know, this kid's an immigrant, he came from another country, had limited opportunity, you know, was homeless, and then he made this out of it. It's like what you're willing to share, you know, at the same time is understanding your story, but knowing how far you're willing to share that with the world, right? That's one way for you to get seen and be understood in a different way. Besides that, I think with the platforms that we have today, social media and all this, is like be creative with it. The same way that you're creative with dance, and you're creative with the way that you approach like your fashion, your music, and all that. I think it's important to be creative and push the boundaries in that as well. How good are you at telling a story in 15 seconds? You know, like challenge yourself on stuff like that. How good are you like engaging the audience that followed you in your breaking world and telling a whole story in 1 minute, and then you go further 5 minutes, and then, you know, like these are like the small things that really make a big difference when it comes to presenting yourself on a higher professional level, outside of just me at practice or me at the gym. Like what is it behind you that makes you you, that we want to know this. And I think that really starts to show a different side of yourself, but also it helps you understand how to go approach something more in a more professional manner, you know. And for right now at these times, I think the guys that are coming up or just younger people look at the things that you are lacking in terms of the way that you present yourself. When somebody hits you up, say somebody on social media hits you up like a brand, how are you going to present to them like what you want to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, think of these things and these challenges that are maybe new to you. Like, have a press kit ready, have a idea ready that you've been wanting to work on, and somebody approaches you, like, present them with that idea. You know, like, lay it all out in ways where people are gonna see it and be like, okay, this guy, he has a vision of something else than your average guy that's in this world. So you really have to try and elevate yourself just in life in general, not even just like, from our breaking side, but if this is what you're doing, then maximize it to the highest level and be as creative as possible in the process, but also be authentic to yourself. I think a lot of times we feel that, okay, I guess I have to say yes to this, but they're coming to you for a reason. So it's like, stick to you, build your brand, be yourself, and stay true to what you believe in and you represent. And, if you don't want to go outside of that, or you want to push yourself outside of that, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to actually step into that new boundary you've never stepped into and do something you've never done before, it's on you to do that. It's up to you how you're willing to push yourself to new fronts. And some of us don't have that in us, but there's nothing wrong with having it or not having it. It's just stepping up to the plate and facing these new challenges.
Man, the two things that you brought up, I think, are some of the most overlooked aspects in this dance, especially for the younger generation. And one is storytelling. And the ironic thing is, I think these two things are like, they're always there, but people just have a blind eye towards it. One is storytelling, and two is taking the aspects that are the essence of breaking, like creativity and resourcefulness, things like that. I think a lot of the younger generation, they apply it to their craft only, and they don't take it outside of that craft. Meaning, like, it's all about being original and thinking of new things and being innovative, but only within breaking. Outside of that, it's hard for them to apply that to other aspects of their life. Like, let's just say it's with social media or with anything in their life, like studying for college or education, higher education, whatever it may be. So I think it's important that those two, like, if we categorize those two things simply, like, it's all about telling your story, and then it's all about you using the essence of this culture, of you being original, and you holding that in a high regard. Like, take that to the other aspects of your life. I think that's, I could speak for Moy and everybody at Break Free. I think that's what we've seen our most elevation is whenever we take the things within this culture and we apply it to things outside of the culture in our everyday lives. I think that's a really good message for the newer generation and what's lost.
Yeah, I wanted to say something too, because we talked about having the younger generation to be able to engage and use their social platforms in a professional manner and to promote who they are and their likeness and their image and to build their brand. But it's something I've also noticed too is, like, when you know somebody online and you see somebody post something, you're like, oh, come on, stop, man, that's not you. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like, post who you are, but don't post who you aren't, and so everything has to be able to match. It's basically, if I see Roxrite posts, it's like, that's what you get. That's what you get offline and online. What you see with me, that's what you get offline and online, no matter what. And there's some people that are just really good, have really good social presence, but then when it converts to the offline, it's just like, where was that social presence at?
Or vice versa.
Or vice versa. So that's important too, because that's what I'm saying. A lot of people push a lot of movement online, right? And I love being resourceful. I love being able to use your social platforms to be this bigger and better person, but don't be too far from where you are. If I take you over here to the side in the real life, and like, I want to be able to have that matchup, what I mean? Because if it doesn't match up, then somewhere down the line, someone's faking the funk. You know what I mean? And it's important to be real and true to yourself. And sometimes, that can get lost as well. So, like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, somebody asked Andrea Roberts, can you expand on the idea of storytelling? And I think you just did right there. And then for Roxrite, though, I think, you could speak a little bit about your blog, maybe your vlog that you've been doing. I think that's a good question to explain from your side. Through your vlog, you've been able to take this concept of storytelling and apply it to you, right?
Yeah, I mean, with storytelling, there's obviously different sides to it. Within breaking, obviously, the more experience you have, the more stories you have. So within that big story, there's a lot of little stories. And right now with content and constant, just being out there and putting your stories out there, now we have the ability to go more in depth, right? You've had the general story. Roxrite's been breaking for 25 years. He's sponsored by this. He's won these battles. Like, cool. But within all those victories, there's a bunch of stories that got me to that position, right? In those 25 years, I've had many lessons in my career. And what I'm trying to do with my project right now that I'm doing on constantly vlogging, but also the 25 of the Roxrite series, like that is going into depth of my 25 years of breaking and like giving you a more like detailed story as to what I had to go through to get to where I am today. So the lessons that I've learned, these are small stories that I can share with the world and maybe can give somebody, there's a lot of people that go through the same thing, right? But maybe they've never heard somebody else that's gone through what they're going through right now. So I'm trying to share all these different phases in my career that help really push me to where I am today. And I'm telling each story in a different way. So that's a way for you to really let the world know like how it was that you went into this, what the things that got you in the position, but also like that it's about inspiration, right? Like when you heard the stories growing up of, old school battles from back in the day or old school individuals, there are certain moments that really stood on you, like, oh damn, that was the Beat Street, right? You saw the Beat Street battle, and then Crazy Legs tells you the backstory to that. You're like, whoa, that's crazy. Like it gives you perspective, right? So obviously for us, we have like micro moments through our career because our careers aren't very visible to the world. So then we have to take our own little impact moments and find ways to tell a story, build a story, and present it to the world. So storytelling is like obviously the basics. When you read a book and you watch a movie, what happens, right? The first 5 minutes, you know who the antagonist is. And then you have this build up, and then they let you down, and then it comes back up. And then a highlight, right? So that's the most basic story structure that there is in every movie. You watch all these movies, they all have the same kind of story concept, but it's how they trick you into being like, oh, maybe it's different, and then you keep falling for it, right? So in breaking, it's obviously not like 110% like that, but you got to think of how to write a story and how to speak on the moments and then explain the downfalls, what you did to overcome the obstacles that were challenging. And, those are the most basic ways to structure stories and then go into more in depth of storytelling.
Yeah, I do agree with what you said, how like the more experience you have, the more stories you have, which is absolutely true, and that's why, when people ask me for advice, I'm always like, man, just be out there, because that's the only way you're going to learn. You got to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
I can tell you all my stories and they may go, you might listen to them and they might resonate in certain ways, but you're not going to be able to experience it by hearing my story. You're going to experience it by you creating your story. And that takes you to be out there. So I'm 1,000% in you. I mean, in you, with you, and that I could be 1,000% in you as well. So we could.
Let's not tell that story right now.
We can tell that story later.
No, we can tell that story.
We'll tell that story next time.
No,
I don't know what it is, man. MVP. I don't know what it is with you, Roxrite. There's something that.
Who would play Roxrite in a movie if it was a Roxrite movie?
Cantinflas. You know who Cantinflas is?
Yeah, hell yeah, bring him on.
Yo, no, but like let's talk about even like our history, dude. Like we've battled I don't know how many times, you know what I mean, and we've been friends for so long, and I think that sometimes people can kind of create their own stories with whether it's with brands, Monster, Red Bull, or Squadron have a Coral, or Renegades have a Coral. Like, but like at the end of the day, we're always able to connect on a positive level and create new things and build on what we got going on. And I think that's a good story, and I think that people forget that sometimes. They think that everything has to be so separated, and it's not that way. People make it that way, and it's not that way, and so like right now, where are you at personally, like with the scene, whether it's competitions or just getting down or the culture in general? Like, where is Roxrite personally at with the scene? Like, are you hype about the next few years? Are you still a little confused about what could happen? Are there some ideas brewing inside you where you're like, man, if nobody gets a hold of this, I'm going to step out and do it, because you're not seeing the change that you want to see? But like, where are you at with this right now personally?
For me right now, I'm just continually like just staying active, staying consistent. I'm actually really excited to see where the scene's going. Like just seeing all the new talent and seeing everybody just blossom. I mean, I want to see growth. That's all I really have always wanted. Growth on all aspects. Growth on the competitive side. Growth on the cultural side. Growth on the events that aren't about just competitions, like other things that are outside of that as well. I want to see everything grow because everything can coexist. There doesn't need to be no divide between, well, I want to go to the Olympics, but I also want to go to the next park jam and smoke you. Like all the platforms need to be there, but they need to be there at the best level, highest level, and the best presentation that we could bring to the table. For me, I'm enjoying breaking a lot right now. I'm enjoying my practices. I'm really enjoying where I'm at in terms of just having fun with it again. I felt like I went through some hard times a few years ago, and it really kind of set me back a bit and kind of stepped out a little bit in a way mentally. But yeah, just been enjoying everything a lot more, and just seeing what's been happening the last couple of years and what's coming already, in the coming years as well. It's just really exciting times in breaking and the opportunities that are presenting for the new generation and then for our generation and just people in the breaking world. I think it's just nothing but up. Like we got to just keep climbing and taking advantage of these great opportunities and really pushing it to the highest level that we can push it. I mean, that's what it's always been about. Breaking's about growth. Just like life, you got to keep growing, you got to keep pushing. So for me, I'm just excited to see that, and I hope to be a part of it. And with the ideas, obviously, is like we're just trying to pump out new things that maybe can inspire new people or a different platform for people to dance at. Like when you guys did the street league thing that you guys are doing, I think that's dope. Like give people a different type of contest that is not like always so like stage or it's just like you guys have a different kind of vibe to it. Like I saw some of the footage, some of the battles that happened there, like that was kind of dope. So it's dope to see those type of concepts become a reality, because we need to start as b-boys that have been in the game this long. Like it's almost our duty to carry the torch of our knowledge and understanding from the past and present it to the world today in this time now. So with events like that, with Styles No Joke, and with certain things like that, we're trying to preserve but also elevate the consciousness, awareness of what the culture represents.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think a good example of like everything we're speaking about is even throughout all this circumstances with COVID, you see things still being produced by community leaders and all the events being thrown. And people can say what they want to say, and I think that's one thing that's for sure is people will talk, whether good or bad. But I think the action being shown by different people, whether it be like your vlog or y'all's live sessions or, somebody shouting out Wicked's throwing an online event for B-Girls, things like that. Like we're still seeing movement throughout our culture, man. We're still seeing people doing things and being resourceful like we spoke about. So I think for me, it's all about perspective, And while this could be a time where some people might get down about some things and become pessimistic, but if you simply just flip things around and try and look at the bright side of things, like in this time, in the past 2 months, like I've in a lot of ways fallen in love with breaking again, man, in so many different ways. Like me personally with my craft, being able to get down more, and then seeing you killing it with your vlog and Squadron doing y'all's thing and Wicked throwing online battles, like it makes me happy that where the scene is right now.
You still suck.
Nah, yeah, it's dope. Like you're saying, I mean, like you guys doing the online battle, that was dope to see, because of course we can't do that in real life anymore, right now, like with the situation. So you guys created something and gave a lot of people a platform to just shine on. And it was just like, yo, hey guys, we got this thing going on. If you want to be a part of it, be a part of it. And, it was good to see how many people were involved and a lot of people you guys got involved with it. That was dope to see, and like you're saying, people are finding different ways to inspire or keep people motivated. Like Wicked has his IG live ciphers, and like he's on that, like, and it's dope. Like it doesn't have to be, you make with what you got, right? If you're able to provide more, you do. You guys provided a huge platform. Wicked has IG live ciphers. We have different ways to, highlight what we're doing. So it's just making the best with what you have and the access you have, So
I think what I would love to see more, like if there's something that I deal with personally, because I wanted to hear what, like, if there's anything that you deal with personally, because like something I deal with personally is like I wish more people were a little bit more accepting to change, because change is important. New territory is important, and having an understanding for it is important. Because if we didn't experience change, we'd be stuck in the 70s, we'd be stuck in the 80s, we'd be, and change has allowed growth. And that's what sometimes I feel like my challenge is, where let's just talk about everything that we got going on. Like, I want to tell you right now, kind of live in public, but like if there's anything that Break Free or myself that can do to help support you guys, like, I want to be able to support, because I think that right now my challenge is that in the community, it's like, no, let's stay in our lane. It's only our way, and that's it. But imagine if we all came together and found ways to help cross promote each other's events and support each other. Then we'd take what we have to a whole nother level. But the reason why it doesn't get to another level right now is because, no, we're going to be successful by ourselves, and that's it, and that's not, like, when we did the online event, and we've probably said this a lot, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it costs a lot of money to do something like that, and we didn't do it because we thought we were going to get rich off of it. It'd be stupid if I thought that, you know what I mean? But we did it because it was a perfect time for it. It was a perfect time for it to happen, and to motivate the scene, and really get the chance to witness so many people that we've never seen before. It gave them an opportunity to feel included, where when we go to events, it's like you already know who the top 8 or the top 16 guys are going to be. And so sometimes young competitors, they don't even feel like they can compete with a Roxrite or, a Jeremy or whatever. They might not feel like they can do that. So how do we make these people feel like they're connected to us? Because I remember coming up as a kid, is all I wanted to feel was like be connected to the scene. And I feel like right now everyone is creating disconnections rather than connections. So like that's my personal challenge. It's like when something goes up, it's like, oh my God, here goes this again. Or if it's them, it's like, oh, we're only going to support this lane, or we're going to support that. But it's like, I want to be able to say, it's like, yo, whoever's watching, if there's a way that Break Free can help you guys, whether it's like, I don't know, posting a flyer or being able to utilize technology or whatever, it's like, I think we need to find ways to work with each other. This is the perfect time when the scene isn't really being proactive in a time like this. It's the perfect time to really engage and connect and try to do something special. And to show, let's talk about like the Olympics or corporate sponsors, right? Whether it's Monster, Red Bull, Adidas, Nike, or whoever. Let's just say like whoever those people are, these corporate companies or Olympics, they're not going to want to get involved with our community if we're so divisive, if we're so separated. We need to work together to get somewhere together. If not, it's always going to be those same people that you're so used to seeing at the top, or whatever you want to call it. It's always going to be the same people, because those are like-minded people, so you're always going to see them there. It's not that they're better than you. It's just they have a different mentality. So how do we all get on the same page to be able to bring everybody there? And that's always been one of my personal goals, is like, how can I help Jeremy come with me to here or whatever? How can I help, and I'm sure you feel the same way about like your students or younger guys in your crew. Like, how can I help them get to where I got to? That's your storytelling, right? You can tell your story all you want, but if they're not following the story, then what's the point of telling the story? You know what I'm saying? It's like it has to have a purpose. And I feel like people do things without purpose now. And right now, like, that's my personal challenge. Is like, I see that there is a purpose, but there's no plan behind the purpose. There's no strategy behind the purpose. And if the purpose is for us to be split up, why are we even having a conversation? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like we really got to get on the same page of being able to support each other. And if we supported each other, we'd get to where we want to get to a lot faster.
Yeah, I hear you.
I do bar mitzvahs, quinceañeras, weddings. I mean, I'm available for hire,
I do it all. He does banda, he does it all. I think also the scene has always had that competitive nature. So I think people need to learn how to put that aside and understand what supporting one another is. Like, you know, like there's different ways of supporting, right? Like we support each other by going to each other's events, right? That's what you're doing when we're not in lockdown, right? So like you're saying, like people sharing the flyer or people just like doing different things to involve themselves without being asked to. You know, I mean, the movement is about people just supporting what we do or what you do or what anybody does. It's like the idea is the goal's bigger than just ourselves, like you said. You know, like it's not okay. You did this contest, but it wasn't just to be like I did it, I made it. It's like now we're doing this together as a team, and we're doing it for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like people sometimes overlook that part, and they don't really understand that. And our scene is in some way still stuck in the mindset like, oh nah, like I have to do it. I have to be the one. You know, like that whole state of mind of having to be, you know, the king is kind of not the best for building something as a community, because everybody wants to be the man, and not everybody's gonna be the man.
And exactly, and I know you can relate to this big time. But how hard is that to do everything by yourself? How hard is it? Like where it took you to get to the level that you are, a lot of it was done by yourself. You know, and then you started to realize, man, I got to open myself up and allow other people in my life to help me. And then you progressed a lot faster, right? But in the beginning, you know, it's so like ego driven. Like it's, oh, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then you kind of get married to this concept of like, this is going to be me, all me. But then you kind of cap out. And after you cap out, you're either going to go backwards or you're going to reach out for help. So my thing is now is like to all the younger generation, reach out for help now, because there's people that are willing to help.
Time is now.
You know, because we didn't have the resources to be able to connect like this. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm watching you in front of a screen right now, and we're having a real life conversation. You know, but we didn't have these platforms. We didn't have these resources to be able to be sponsored, right? Like to be able to throw online events. People may not dig it or like it, but other people, it might be their only chance to battle someone like Roxrite, who has been their long life goal to do that. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like there's always a negative, but there's more positive than there is negative. But it's like, how do we align people to understand that, like, it's not always about an individual. It's not always about what I want. It's not always about what you want. And most of the time, it's not always about what you want. It's when you have to think about like the big picture, right? A lot of people talk about the big picture. You really have to think about that, because if you're not aiming for a bigger picture, right? Like then why are you doing what we're doing? You know, because you're just a piece of the puzzle. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone. Yeah. Like who are we to think that we're better than anybody else? We just saw a little kid hit 42 2000s. That I mean, as funny and as crazy that is, but this freaking little kid, like that, he plays a major part of this picture, because it's something that gives us something to talk about, right? It gives us whether it's fun or it's real or serious, it's something to talk about. And he made a mark for himself, and that's the beauty of it. And so now we're promoting little B-boy Malish, you know, who killed it and doing his thing, and we're helping spread awareness to who he is. But like, imagine if we did that with everybody, and we gave a platform for everybody, you know. Like we've been doing this before too, where we kind of open it up where anybody can come in and join the conversation with us right now. Like stuff like that, you know, we want to be able to help people feel like they're a part of what we're doing. And I think that from the surface, a lot of people tuning in and watching, they feel like they can't be a part of our circle because maybe we're unapproachable to them, or those guys have been doing it for 25 years. I don't even know if I belong with them. But why not? Why don't you belong with us? And it's partially our fault, you know, because we're not stepping up and allowing them in, you know. But that's the personal challenge. But like, I really want to challenge you, Jeremy, everybody watching, that we need to start doing that more, because, you know, like it's like what Marlon used to always tell us, right? Like this, like we're slowly getting pushed into retirement. You know, as much as we want to continue, you know, we are older. You know, that's inevitable. You know, and we're going to continue to be older.
Sure.
Doesn't mean we can't train and still try to compete at the highest levels, but at the same time, we have to take a look at where we can be resourceful and helpful to others outside of just being a competition figure. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Now, yeah, I mean, I think, you know, all we can do is lead by example. You know, like you guys are leading by example. We're leading by example. There's a lot of people that are just leading by example. I think, obviously, making yourself available, which we are now when we have, you know, 24/7 access to online activity, you know, that you're accessible at all times. So what does being accessible, we're reachable. Like anybody can hit us up, anybody can ask questions. I mean, that's in a way, that's our way to give back right now, right? And that's kind of been the way to give back for the last couple of years since all this, these social media platforms have been at our fingertips, right? This is our way to provide that. The thing is, the people doing it as well, they gotta want to learn it. You know, the way that me and you and Jeremy are really students to this, like we ask questions, we met these people, we went out of our way to like ask the questions. Yeah, it was intimidating to go up to Ken Swift to be like, yo, well, you know, I know this was whack, but like it was intimidating to approach this person that I grew up watching that inspired me, right? So it is intimidating, but I think the kids themselves have to want to go out there and do that as well. You know, we can keep leading by example and providing that, and showing that there is more opportunity for this, which is what's been happening, right? We have these new things happening in the world of breaking that weren't happening 20 years ago at this level, right? So we're already moving forward, pushing forward. So we just have to remind ourselves that this is what we're doing, and we're also letting other people come in, jump on board, and kind of, you know, taking crew members or taking young students and leading them into this type of direction. Sometimes we do it without even really realizing that we're doing it, right? There might be a kid that's been following you for the last 10 years and he's like, yo, everything Moy's done, like, it's been working. Like, if I do it my way, then I could one day be in that shoe, you know? And you never know, he might come out in the next 2 years. Like, it just, we also for ourselves, like, I feel what you're saying, you know, and I know that there's like so much more potential when all of this comes together and we all come together and build together. And that's what some of us have been doing, you know, and this is why we are where we are. Like, you guys are where you're at because you guys have done that. Like, me and you connected years ago, and we've always kind of just been in each other's lives through events, through, you know, just being active and supporting. And even within that small support that we've had for one another, it's like we kept pushing and elevating. Like Squadron, and when Mex One was around, like that was like a different movement as well, right? Like, he helped elevate a lot of the people that were involved. He helped really provide a sponsorship when there wasn't other sponsorships that were there, you know. Oh, I'll fly you here, I'll fly you there. Like what you experienced with like tribal and stuff like that. Like Mex was doing stuff like that, but from within, obviously, a b-boy turned promoter turned like brand owner, you know. So yeah, all we could do is lead by example.
What are the I know we spoke about like the Squadron sessions in your vlog. Do y'all have a schedule set, or is it kind of like, how can people follow along and tune in for that?
Right now, that we did a few test runs so far. We're just the stuff that me and Lena are doing more. We're trying to set up a schedule for that, but also with the way that we want to do it, we want it to just be like limited in a way that we only do it once in a while. With the Squadron stuff, we want to take, at least for the way that we did it last time, it was like, let's just do it when we feel it. You know, like, we don't want, like, if people see it, they see it. Eventually, we want to obviously start scheduling certain things. But for right now, it's an experiment to see, just like when you would go to a cipher and you would see a battle go down, it's kind of like, oh, I just saw that, that was dope. It's only there for those that want to see it. Sporadic. So it's a sporadic thing. It's when the guys are in the
freeze framing Roxrite again, showing off.
Oh, it froze again. My face looked funny too.
Sounds good.
But yeah, we're trying to keep it.
We got it, bro. We know you can freeze. Stop.
Nah, is it working now?
Yeah,
it's
good.
All right, cool.
Yo, Rox,
but yeah,
real
we're
quick.
Just trying to keep it spontaneous.
We don't have a lot of time left, man. But just wanted to. I know you noticed, but we got a big event coming up. It's the Break Free Day online competition that we got coming up, and we know that a lot of people have been kind of following it online, especially following after we did the Solidarity Break Free Worldwide 2020 Championship. We wanted to come back to make sure that people had another chance, and we wanted to provide a platform still to continue the motivation and the movement going. I think it's important for us all, B-boys and B-girls and dancers alike. We also added an all-styles category, which includes other dancers, but we definitely wanted to come back and just hype the movement up, man, and give you guys something to do. So that's coming up in July. If you guys are looking for that information, it lives on our social media, it lives on our website, breakfreeworldwide.com. Go sign up. It's a good opportunity to really build and connect with competitors across all levels, youth, adult B-boys and B-girls, all styles, and really build, man. This is the time, especially for all the people that don't get the opportunity to travel so much, even if COVID-19 didn't exist, right? This is a good platform for you guys, and
good money to be made.
And yeah, there's some good money to be made as well. So we got $25,000 in cash and prizes being given away through the competition, and so support what we're doing, guys, and we do it for you, and the more support we get, the more we can do and provide and give you guys right back. So again, all that information is on our website, breakfreeworldwide.com. It is on our Instagram, Break Free Worldwide, Twitter, Break Free Worldwide, Facebook, Break Free Worldwide. Follow us, and we're constantly promoting. We're constantly doing different ways, do different things to provide different ways to get involved and contribute to the scene. And it allows us to be able to contribute more with more support. And that's one of the reasons why I'd asked Rox, I think it's important for us to kind of unite and help each other out and build, because we can take what we have and combine and join forces and be able to push the message forward, to be able to get there a lot faster. And so we have Rox back now. So it's like, with that event coming up, Rox, like, what are your thoughts? What are your words of advice for young competitors? And it's a lot. It's in the other one we gave away 35,000 cash. For this one, we're giving away 25,000 cash and prizes. Still a lot of money, man. It's a good motivating platform. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, they're practicing every day at home. What better place than to put your skills to the test? You've been developing all this stuff at home. Like, you're not gonna go anywhere anytime soon. Like, you guys are providing this great platform for people to do something. Why not? Push your talent. You're online anyways, showing us on Instagram what you can do. Sign up, get yourselves a shot, making some ends while you're doing that already. You know what I'm saying? And you guys are actually giving these kinds of prizes. Not a lot of people are providing those kind of prizes. So it's you're good at what you do. You're practicing all the time. Break Free is bringing you guys this event, an online event for you guys to stay in the comfort of your own practice space where you're a master at. That shows your mastery, So I think it's just a great opportunity, and it's a great thing for people that are wanting to test themselves still during these times. It's obviously it's a hard thing also for some people mentally to have to deal with this as well. But you guys are doing these great things, and this is another opportunity for somebody to come on board. And you never know, you might find new talent like you guys did with the other one. Maybe it's a new kid that we haven't seen
crazy,
yet.
Man. We saw a lot of amazing talent, So
I agree with everything.
That's the beauty of it, though.
From the comfort of your home, and you have the opportunity to get down, represent, and battle.
It kind of bothered me inside when they won, and I'm like, I've never won $5,000 from my own house. And I'm just like, that hurts a little bit, stings. But it's exciting, it's so dope. It's crazy.
So we appreciate you registering for the Break Free Day battle, man.
So you guys have a chance to battle Roxrite.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Roxrite said that you could do it from your home. He's entering the Break Free Day battle. We appreciate that, Rox. Thanks.
No doubt.
Yo, thank you, Rox, man, for everything that you're always doing, man, in the scene, in and out of the season, man. You're always providing something for people to stay connected to you, your crew, and the movement. And so we appreciate you jumping on board. You've been a brother, man. You've been a long time friend of ours and family member of this community. And so we appreciate you, bro. And hopefully we can get you back on to even connect and build some more.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, man. Good to see everything that's been going on with you guys. You guys are both, obviously, Mo, we go way back. Jeremy, you've been growing. It's been dope to see how much you've grown in the last year since I first met you, you know.
He needs to grow a whole lot more,
dope to see.
Yeah, he needs to grow way more.
I'll be way taller. I'm already way taller than you already, more.
If you get any taller,
you're like double my size, bro.
Sucking even more.
Nah, enough respect, Rox. You know we got nothing but love and respect for you, bro. Thank you for everything, man.
Always,
until next time.
Yeah, no doubt.
And
for sure, man. Thanks for having me.
If you want to talk about that in you moment, send me a DM. All right, man. Much love to you.
All right, Rox.
Much love to you, Rox. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. On that note.
Yeah, on that note.
Good time to end the episode. Right?
Yo, check this out, y'all, man. Go register, man. Don't miss out on this amazing opportunity. We have a lot happening. Right here, Break Free Worldwide. A lot. See, Jeremy always talks about how I use my hands, but he didn't talk about how I use my hands like this.
Hey, I bet if we rewind
BreakFreeWorldwide.com. Go to the website, register, sign up.
www.
You already know what it is.
Like, comment, subscribe. See y'all episode 44, y'all.
Yeah.
Every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Break Free Worldwide. Peace.
Have you ever wanted to have your own TV show? We can make that happen at Houston Media Source. When you walk in the door, all you need is an idea. We have everything you need. Studios, cameras, lights, microphones, and more. All professional quality and state-of-the-art. Get started by attending one of our free orientation sessions every Monday at 6 p.m. at our studios at 410 Roberts near Minute Maid Park. Get more information online at hmstv.org. Make your voice heard with Houston Media Source.